How you doing, everybody? Jonathan here, and in this video I'm going to answer a question that I see very often, and that is, what is the best personal training certification that you can get, specifically in this video, in the US? And I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube where somebody makes an assertion based on research that they've done, or they ask around, but nobody's actually earned these actual certifications. So given the fact that I earned these certifications specifically to service you guys better, as I started my business and had 8 years of training before I ever earned my first cert, and I'll explain why. I think I'm in a position to give you your best advice on how you want to educate yourself and promote yourself in your career. All right, but before I do that, if you have not yet, make sure to click on that link up there and subscribe to my newsletter, as I send out short articles every Monday on how to see success in the fitness industry. If you just happen to stumble upon this video, make sure to click on that icon below and subscribe to this channel, as I make videos based on questions that I get the most. And as always, if you've already subscribed to both my newsletter and to the YouTube channel, thank you very much for your support. And if you find the information in this video helpful, please click on the like button below the video player, because every like that I get helps this channel. All right, so I'm going to give you a quick story about me, and then I'm going to go through all these certifications. All right, quick story. I kind of fell into personal training. I started off working in a gym called Powerhouse. I really thought that I was just going to be racking weights for the summer, but the PT director over there took a liking to me. I was a football player for a Division I school, so he liked my story about learning about fitness, learning how to train myself, and wanted to help other people. So I essentially went through a mentorship program where I just kind of I was an apprentice to the trainers. I was there for like 12 hours a day for at least a month, just learning how to train, how to talk to people. So I didn't get certified for a very, very long time, because I was at that gym for a while. I even started my own boot camp, having not gotten certified yet. But at around the time that I started the boot camp, I started to make these videos, and I, number one, wanted to educate myself as much as possible, and I wanted to be as much of a resource as possible to you guys. So I've earned some of the most popular certifications that you'd find out there. Up here, down here rather, you have my ACE certification, which a lot of people ask about. You have the Nsca certification, National Strength and Conditioning Association, and you have probably the most popular certification right now, which is the NASM certification. I've earned all three. I actually made a study course for the NASM course. And in terms of which certification is right for you, the first thing that I want to help you understand is that certifications are very, very similar. All right. In terms of the testing for these certifications, I'm pretty sure that, I could have studied for the NSCA certification and passed the ACE pretty easily. And passed, maybe even passed the NASM pretty easily. It just depends on, if how well you study, how well you retain information. So in terms of the testing information, and in terms of what you learn from certification to certification, it's pretty much the same, because fitness is the same no matter what. There's always going to be risk factors. You always have to have a baseline understanding of nutrition. You want to understand how certain exercises work certain parts of the muscles. You want to understand fitness testing, and you want to learn how to keep clients safe. All right, so that's essentially what all personal training certifications do. And there are a lot of other certifications that I haven't mentioned besides ACE, NSCA, and NASM, such as Nsca, ISSA, ACSM. But when you look at the requirements for gyms that are hiring, you're not going to find any gym that wouldn't take any one of those three: ACE, NASM, and NSCA. So those are the three for the base on. Now, when it comes to ACE, that's the first certification that I earned. I actually purchased the ACE study material maybe 3-4 years before I ever took the exam. So even though I wasn't officially certified, I had all of the knowledge and implemented all of the knowledge of the ACE program into my training. I was just very scared to test, and a lot of people are scared to test, and that's why I put together videos on my channel on what you want to know for each certification. So if you search ACE review, you'll find a video for an ACE review after I took it, and a CA review, NASM review. I give information and tips on how you're going to want to do well on that exam. So what do you want to take from that? Number one, you can't be afraid of testing, because if you study material, you're going to be okay. The second thing that you want to take from that is you want to consider your path. All right. So if if you specifically want to start off your career working in a gym, and that's probably the path of least resistance in a lot of ways, because you'll get a lot of people thrown your way without having to do a lot of marketing on your own, and you're going to want to work at a gym. And it's helpful for you to have this, having had passed the test. All right, I really didn't need to get any other certs when I started my business, because a lot of clients don't even know what kind of certs to ask for. When you think about it, you don't even know what certs to get, you know? So clients don't really know what certs to ask for. It's kind of an integrity thing as a trainer for you to educate yourself, all right? Now, being completely practical and transparent, if I were going to train on my own again, and I wasn't going to work in a gym, I would purchase the study material for a given certification. I'd get one version back because fitness doesn't change much. They just, have to put out more versions because they can make more money that way. I would purchase the previous version of whatever certification I chose, and then I would read through that information and I would be as educated. The only difference is I will not have been given this piece of paper that they issue you after you pass their $1,000 exam. Now you have to understand, I'm kind of a cynic when it comes to education and the way that they charge money for, just a piece of paper that doesn't necessarily determine whether or not you are a good trainer or not. So some people test really well but won't implement anything that they learned in the book. Some people test really poorly but know the book like the back of their hand. So what I'm saying is, if you want to work at a gym, you got to get this piece of paper, all right? If you want to go solo and you are short on money, then I would say purchase a textbook from one version back. I actually think the previous version of the Nsca is clearer than the current version, I believe 5 it is right now. Here, I'm going to pause this video, I'm going to grab the book. All right, so here, for instance, is the current edition for the Nsca personal training exam, all right? This is the 5th edition, all right? I created my my Nsca study guide using the 4th edition, all right? And actually a lot of people pass the 5th edition Nsca study guide using the 4th edition material because material doesn't change much. I actually found the previous version to this one, the 3rd edition, a little bit of an easier read. That's what I used to pass my 4th edition Nsca exam. All right. Like I might have said earlier in the video, I had the ACE study material for the longest. This is the ACE booklet that I used to study for the ACE exam back in like 2013. All right. I had this for years, read it front and back, knew everything in it, but I was afraid to test. All right. This is the current version of the ACE manual, and honestly this makes me want to jump off of a bridge. It's so, my biggest issue with ACE is that they load up so much useless information and they repeat themselves so often. I honestly think that this book could be this big, all right, if they were a little bit more concise with how they explain their information. So if it were me and I had to give you guys advice on it, I personally wouldn't recommend the ACE, because to me it's a very complicated read, and a lot of the fitness testing and screening things that they do, you'd probably never do. This is the Nsca study guide, all right? And I believe this is still the same edition that they use. I don't think they've updated it yet. To be honest with you, the Nsca exam was the hardest exam that I took. I honestly thought that they gave me the wrong exam and I was taking the CSCS exam instead of the personal training exam. But it was the hardest one to study for. But the Nsca certification will give you, I believe, the broadest amount of information as it relates to how to train. All right. But if I were to recommend a certification for you guys to start off with, especially if you were just looking to train the layperson, not exactly high intensity athletes, I am actually a fan of Nsca. I feel that their screening is going to be most relatable to the average person that you'll see, walking down the street if they were looking to get fitter. I believe that even though the newest edition isn't as clear as the previous editions, it is the easiest to understand. There's a lot to absorb in the NSCA booklet, but at least it's not repetitive and it's explained clearly. It's just a lot. With ACE, I'm sorry, ACE, you got to figure out a way to give that information a little bit better. Now, you might not agree, all you ACE certified trainers. I did it too, so but that's my 2 cents. If I were gonna have somebody new start, I think NASM is kind of the best way to go. If you're looking for something that's gonna train the layperson, NSCA is gonna have more information. I think you'd be better prepared to train a larger demographic of people than just a layperson if you had the NSCA cert, but it is harder, all right? But like I said, if I were doing this and I didn't have any plans on working at a brand new gym, this is the current version of the NASM, I would go on Amazon and I would buy this version and I would study it front to back, all right? Because the information is the same. It's just that the order is different, all right? And you'll save a lot of money. You could probably, I definitely know that you can pass the exam of the current version with the previous version, because that's what I did with almost all of my certifications, save for the NSCA. So my thing, I would go NASM if I were you. I know that you only need one of these. There's no reason for me to have 3 of these as a professional trainer. But as a mentor to you guys, I had to get multiple certifications so I could explain things like this to you. So I hope you found this video helpful. You might have some opinions that you want to throw back my way. Put them in the comment section below. I'd be happy to answer them. And as always, I said that I saw a lot of my success because I had mentors. And if you're looking for a mentor, I definitely recommend that you check out my Dumbbells to Dollars course, as I can serve as an online mentor for you, as it shows how I essentially not only learned how to train, but how to build a business. I kind of evolved from doing one-on-ones to doing boot camp group training because I didn't want to work the longer hours. I wanted to train multiple people at the same time, and that gave me my best opportunity to see success, as I learned all about business marketing, and that's all in that course. So if you're looking for extra mentorship, I definitely recommend that you check it out. But that's about it. I hope you found this video helpful. Remember, if you have any questions or comments, make sure to comment below. Your comments will fuel the videos that I put up for this channel. So if you have an opinion, I'll be happy to read it. And stay tuned, as I will be making more videos, as long as you remember to eat healthy, hydrate, drive safe, stress levels, go get rest, don't slap anybody, love your clients, they will love you back. I'll see y'all tomorrow or the next day, and you have a good one.